Okay, hi everyone. My name is Lauren Baker. I'm a second-year fellow at USAID in the Office of Policy in the Bureau for Policy Planning and Learning, and I'm going to be speaking about inclusive development today, and my views are my own. I'm not speaking for the agency or my bureau. Okay, so to begin with, let me ask you a question, which is, when you hear the word development, what comes to mind? Something that is generally positive and desirable, or potentially negative and threatening? Before I came to USAID, I worked in the Peruvian Amazon with indigenous leaders who were raising many concerns about extraction-based development, oil development, and for them, development was too often imposed and harmful, leaving them worse off than before. At USAID, development is almost always understood as both positive and necessary. My colleagues there are deeply committed to making the world a better place by improving access to drinking water and sanitation, improving healthcare and education systems, and extending the reach of democracy, human rights, and governance. So how do you reconcile these two contrasting views of development as harmful imposition and development as a positive force for good in the world? On the one hand, this includes having strong social and environmental safeguards to assess and address risks and do no harm. And more fundamentally, development should be designed from the start with inclusion in mind. Much of my work at USAID has fallen under the umbrella of inclusive development, which both includes social safeguards and itself constitutes a safeguard when done well. I served as the co-coordinator of the agency-wide Inclusive Development Working Group, which enhanced coordination on social inclusion policies and promoted inclusion as a way to improve development outcomes writ large. And within that umbrella, I focus most on Indigenous peoples, including serving as a drafting team member of the Indigenous Peoples Policy, and as one of the lead trainers for an one-day Indigenous Peoples training at USAID. I also accompanied the US delegation to the UN Permanent Forum on Indigenous issues for the past 2 years. Additionally, I co-led a policy implementation assessment of the youth and development policy, examining how the agency has and can better elevate youth programming, participation, and partnerships, and I backstopped other social inclusion policies as well, including the revision currently underway of the disability policy. So all of these policies share similar elements and principles, and one particularly important one is enhanced engagement, especially before and during design. How do people you're hoping to reach perceive their own challenges and opportunities, and how can our programs respond to and support their own development visions and initiatives? Even over the short time I've been at the agency, there's been increased attention to and guidance about meaningful consultation and consent, social impact assessment, and co-creation. And this signals a move toward engaging more often and more directly with members of marginalized groups and civil society organizations, which can enhance the design process by integrating their own criteria, objectives, and values, which are often distinct from ours. There's still a while to grow to realize these aims in practice and at scale, but this is a move in the right direction. So to conclude, I encourage you to also reflect on your own work, and if the emphasis on your own or our own expertise might be incomplete or eclipse other forms of knowledge or visions for solutions. Are we being as inclusive as we can be, not only in implementation, but in design? Thank you very much.